Bonsoir à tous, I hope you're doing great. It's Monday, May the 11th. I hope you had a lovely Sunday because we haven't met yesterday and honestly it felt so good. Have a full day off. It was lovely. So I'm going to keep doing this next weekend. So this week we're going to do that reading of the tales from Monday to Friday. And then next Monday I will see what I do next. It's very, very lovely to see you each night. And today was a very, very busy day, as I told you. This is why I didn't manage to prepare my notes for today's tale. And because the schedule is very tight, this is all I can do today. And this is what we're going to see together. So I have a word reference here for you, and we will look at the vocabulary together. And today it is 2 ghost stories. I told you how funny it was that when I pick stories to add to my file of notes, they happen to come in pairs. And today is actually something that happened. So maybe a funny spirit is helping us do these tales because the spirit picked 2 ghost stories. So let's read the first one together. So if this is your first time I read the full tale, this is a tale written by Patrick Baud, a French author, and it's called Nanofiction. And I read the tale in French, and we read this together. So read out loud with me so you can improve your pronunciation and your confidence when you're speaking French. And then I analyze each sentence, give you the context, the vocabulary, the examples, and there is my little elf that just came in the door. So I hope he's fine and doesn't disturb you. Let's read the first one together. Are you ready? 1, 2, and 3. Il vivait reclus dans une vieille maison dont il n'avait pas payé le loyer depuis longtemps. Un jour, quelqu'un frappa à la porte. C'est encore un huissier, c'est ça? Pas exactement, monsieur. Je suis médium. Pourquoi ils envoient un médium? Vous êtes mort depuis 15 ans. Ooh, that's scary. I wanted to tell you something about a movie, but that would be spoiling the movie, so I'm not saying anything. Maybe you haven't seen it. Let's reread the first sentence together. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Il vivait reclus dans une vieille maison dont il n'avait pas payé le loyer depuis longtemps. Here we have several liaisons. Il vivait reclus dans une, here we have une liaison, vieille maison dont il, here we have une liaison again, n'avait pas payé le loyer depuis longtemps. Il vivait reclus. Il vivait, here it is the verb vivre, to live, vivre, and reclus. I think you have the same word in English. Shut off, shut away as a recluse. So yes, you can understand what this is because it is very, very close. So it is enfermé here. Reclus, it is enfermé. Here, okay, it is not everywhere because it is voluntarily. It is not something that is done in a jail usually. It is reclus. When someone is reclus, is that they take themselves away from society. And the verb is reclure. We have something, reclure, yes. Can we say se reclure? I think so. It doesn't say here. But yes, I would say so. Go to earth, drive somebody to earth, drive into reclusion. For example, pendant la pandémie, j'ai décidé de me reclure dans mon appartement. avec mon chat. During the pandemic, I decided to stay away in my apartment with my cat. De me reclure, j'ai décidé de me reclure. Dans une vieille maison, in an old house, dans une vieille maison, dans une, here we have une liaison, dans une vieille maison dont il n'avait pas payé le loyer depuis longtemps. It is of which, the house about which, il n'avait pas payé le loyer depuis longtemps. Do we have a good translation for dont? Whose? Of which? Yeah, not that bad. Of which. I still have to plan some time to read my grammar book that I bought last week. It's really good. It's a Becherel one, which is a reference in grammar for normal people. And I want to plan some time to actually sit down and write and take notes. Sit down, read and take notes, which I often do when I'm studying books, so I can get better at grammar. Dont il n'avait pas payé le loyer. Le loyer, it is the rent. Le loyer, it is the rent. So payer le loyer, it is to pay the rent. Depuis longtemps, for a while, for a long time. And longtemps, we don't say lots of letters. We say longtemps. Okay, we don't say the G and we don't say the P and we don't say the S. Longtemps. And actually it is exactly like a long time. Longtemps. You don't say the G and you don't say the P and the S, okay? But it's not because it is in a word that it changes anything. So we say longtemps. Okay, so I'm going to put this like that because I want you thinking that this is how it's written. NPS. Longtemps. Longtemps, we don't say the G, we don't say PS. Let's reread the sentence together, okay? Breathe in, breathe out. Try to do this every day. And 1, 2, and 3. Il vivait reclus dans une vieille maison dont il n'avait pas payé le loyer depuis longtemps. Okay, so far so good. Sorry. Un jour, quelqu'un frappa à la porte. Un jour, quelqu'un frappa à la porte. Here there is no liaison. Quelqu'un is someone. Quelqu'un frappa à la porte. Frapper à la porte, it is to knock on the door. À la porte. And someone with some. Knock on the door. And sometimes, sorry. And sometimes we say toquer à la porte. It is toquer à la porte. Can we find, can we make sure, toquer à, knock on the door. This is what I was looking for. Toquer à la porte. This is a familiar French, toquer, but it is absolutely not slang in a way that is vulgar. It's just familiar French. Because the sound that we make when we're knocking on the door, do you know what that is? It is toc toc. And this is where it comes from. Toquer, it comes from knock knock, and knock knock translates into toc toc in French. The sounds are so interesting in all the languages, and I think I should even do a full Tuesday lesson on that. What's the sound? And recently there was a survey on Netflix on their Twitter account asking the world for what is the sound of the Netflix banner. You know, it just appears on your screen. How do you write it in your language? And it was so funny because the French one was so different from the American answer, well, English-speaking answer. And now I think it's the description of the Netflix account. I'm going to check this. Twitter, Netflix. Let's see that together so I can give you more context. No, this is a parody. This is not what I'm looking for. It might be the same, but it's not what I'm looking for now. Oh, they changed it. Netflix France, maybe. Might be France. Netflix France, okay, that's here. Yeah, so you see, I'm going to put this bigger for you. So Tudum is how we describe the sound of Netflix. If you have Netflix, you know this sound. And if you don't, check it out just to know what I'm talking about and how each culture and each language describes the sound is so interesting. So, for example, the Netflix sound, Tudum. No, I'm going to say that in French, Tudum. Tudum. It's exactly what I'm talking about. So in French, knock knock is toc toc. That's why we have this verb, toquer à la porte. Un jour, quelqu'un frappa à la porte. One day, someone knocked on the door. And I know someone is knocking on my piano at the moment. And so far, he's not as strong as to destroy it. But he puts his little fingers everywhere. So the next sentence, c'est encore un huissier, c'est ça? C'est encore un huissier, c'est ça? Here we have une liaison, c'est encore un huissier, un huissier. C'est encore un huissier, c'est ça? À tout à l'heure. He's been taken away by the patrol. C'est encore un huissier, c'est ça? It is, how do you say huissier? This is a word I don't know because I hope I don't need one ever. It seems to be court bailiff, but I have no idea what this is. Bailiff clerk or bailiff? Okay, so you'll find the law that fits your country here. I have no idea. Huissier is someone who is usually official and is there to check on the situation or asks for money if something has to be executed. He's someone who executes things, especially orders and by the law. C'est encore un huissier, c'est ça. It's bailiff again, isn't it? C'est ça, is it this? And then you put a question mark. C'est encore un huissier, c'est ça. My son is very, very persistent when he wants to be near me in the room where I'm recording these videos. So he always comes back, crawling. So he's back. C'est encore un huissier, c'est ça. Here, there could be une virgule in order to make the sentence more understandable. So it is again a bailiff. Is it? Here you could translate it by is it or isn't it, obviously, because it's an affirmation. Here it's pretty straightforward, so I will leave that there. Pas exactement, monsieur, je suis médium. Not really, sir, I am... how do you say medium? A medium, which is a word, medium, psychic. I knew psychic, I didn't know medium in English. Pas exactement, not exactly, sir, I am a psychic. And let's read the last two together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Pourquoi ils envoient un médium? Vous êtes mort depuis 15 ans. Oh. Pourquoi ils envoient un médium? Envoyer, it is to send. So, envoyer, to send. And it works if you're talking about an email. It works if you're talking about mail. But it also works if you're sending someone. For example, je t'ai envoyé un email à propos du plombier, de plumber, ce matin. Or, ils ont envoyé quelqu'un pour faire l'état des lieux de l'appartement. and here I put extra vocabulary for you. Ils ont envoyé quelqu'un pour faire l'état des lieux de l'appartement. Did they send someone to do l'état des lieux de l'appartement? How do you say l'état des lieux? L'état des lieux is, oh God, there's no translation. If I look for état des lieux. No. Not something that I find. État des lieux. Inventory. Seems to be that. But it is what the visit that you do when you're entering a place or leaving a place that you're renting. And they're going to take your deposit, and then at the end they will give you the deposit back or get some of the money from it. So this is un état des lieux. Pourquoi ils envoient un médium? Vous êtes mort depuis 15 ans. Vous êtes mort depuis 15 ans. I'm checking the liaison. So let's reread the term together and I'm going to explain everything. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Il vivait reclus dans une vieille maison dont il n'avait pas payé le loyer depuis longtemps. He was living, he was staying away from the world in this old house that he had not paid the rent for a long time. Un jour, quelqu'un frappa à la porte. One day, someone knocked on the door. It is a huissier again, isn't it? C'est encore un huissier, c'est ça? Pas exactement, monsieur, je suis médium. Not exactly, sir, I am a psychic. Pourquoi ils envoient un médium? And here we have a liaison that I forgot to mention. Pourquoi ils envoient un médium? Vous êtes mort depuis 15 ans. Vous êtes mort depuis 15 ans. You've been dead for 15 years. Vous êtes mort depuis 15 ans. Here you can notice that it is a present that we're using. You've been dead for 15 years. And this is why for French people, understanding this tense of you've been dead for 15 years is so difficult. And this is why French people are going to make loads of mistakes about that. So be understanding and forgiving and sorry. So they're not sending an official to actually ask for the rent again and get his furniture, for example. They're sending a psychic because he's been dead for 15 years and the people want him out in order to rent the house again. Another ghost story for today. Monday should be the day of ghost stories. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Ce fantôme n'arrivait pas à s'adapter à son époque. Il avait beau tout faire pour hanter correctement, ses actions étaient expliquées rationnellement par les vivants. Erreur de perception, biais psychologique, canular, il finit par ne plus croire en lui-même et disparut. Oh, poor him. I'm really sad when I read stories about ghosts which are not really good at being ghosts. Let's read the first sentence again. Ce fantôme n'arrivait pas à s'adapter à son époque. Here we have une liaison. And you could say s'adapter à son époque. Above, in the previous tale, there were also liaison that I could have made, but I didn't. So there's some liaisons that are really up to you. Ce fantôme n'arrivait pas à s'adapter à son époque. This ghost, un fantôme is a ghost. A ghost. And about ghosts, do you know a French hero from, I think, the 1960s in books for children? She's really, really cool. If you have the opportunity to read her adventures, it's Fantomette. She's fantastic. And it's not Fantomas. Fantomas is the bad guy from a completely different series, and Fantomette is a young superhero, and she's a teenager, and she fixes crimes, and she prevented crimes, and she solved mysteries, and it's a book from something called La Bibliothèque Rose. It is novels for children that used to be edited in the 1960s, and it stayed because the stories are really good. They're obviously old-fashioned because they're from this time, but the stories are so good if you can read them, and I think I should add them to my book club, one of them. It's really funny to read because she is very good. She's of very good nature, and she's super kind. Fantomette, I recommend you read her. And she looks like Fantomette. And she looks like this. She looks like this. She has this famous hat and her famous costume. So this is Fantomette. So check her out. She's famous, and lots of nostalgia there. Ce fantôme n'arrivait pas à s'adapter à son époque. Arriver is to arrive, mais ne pas arriver à. And arriver à is to not manage to do something. Plus verb. For example, je n'arrive pas à attraper les assiettes dans le meuble. I can't manage to reach the plates in the, how do you say, meuble? I wouldn't say furniture. Un meuble, it is, that's awkward. Cupboard. There, I think that's it. Or the kitchen, the cabinet, or something. You imagine it. It is a kitchen unit, kitchen cupboard, kitchen cabinet. It's really up to you to find the translation, but this is what it is. Je n'arrive pas à attraper les assiettes dans le meuble. Elles sont trop hautes. They're too high. And that's my best friend because she's very tiny. And I put everything up. N'arrivez pas à s'adapter, to adapt à son époque. Une époque, it is a time. So it is not it's not a number of years. It is more the time that you are in. Or you're considering. Time, yes. Age, era. Une époque, a time. So let's go for all the vocabulary of this last sentence together. Ready to read it? 1, 2, 3. Il avait beau tout faire pour hanter correctement, ses actions étaient expliquées rationnellement par les vivants. Erreur de perception, biais psychologique, canular, il finit par ne plus croire en lui-même et disparut. Here I would put un tiret here. Il avait beau. Avoir beau is even when you're doing something. Avoir beau. You might well do something. May well do something. May well do something. So he's trying really hard. He's giving all he has, but it didn't work. For example, j'ai beau j'ai beau pédaler à fond, je n'avance pas avec tout ce vent. Even though I'm pushing really, really hard on the pedals of my bike, à fond is as much as I can. Je n'avance pas avec tout ce vent. I can't move on, go forward with all this wind, because the wind is blowing so hard that even though I'm pushing really, really hard on my bicycle, I'm not moving forward because the wind is going the other way. Il avait beau tout faire, so do everything, pour hanter correctement. Hanter is to hunt. I'm checking this. Like a ghost, yes. Correctement is correctly. Ses actions étaient expliquées rationnellement par les vivants. His actions were explained rationally by the living. Les vivants is the living. So it is exactly the same. But very often, reverse engineering a language is really difficult. Like understanding that les vivants are the living is okay, but if you had to find out that the living are translated into les vivants because you had to translate it yourself, it would be difficult. So this is why I often insist on that, because it's difficult to find it, to understand it backwards. So if you had to translate the living, it would be les vivants, and vivre is to live. Erreur de perception, perception errors. Biais psychologique, psychological bias, so it's the same. Canular, canular is not the same. Un canular, well, I think it's not the same. Canular, it is a prank, a hoax. A prank. Un canular is a prank. So a joke you play on someone. Il finit par ne plus croire en lui-même. He ended up, finir par is to ended up doing something, ne plus croire en lui-même. And we saw before that croire is to believe. And it can be to believe in a God, but also to believe something. And if you're believing in yourself, it's that as well. Croire en soi-même. It is to believe in oneself. To believe in oneself. Maybe like that. Yes. Et disparu, and he disappeared. Disparaître, it is to disappear. Disparaître, to disappear. Oh, poor him. Let's read the tale together and I'm going to translate. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ce fantôme n'arrivait pas à s'adapter à son époque. This ghost didn't manage to adapt to his time. So he's trying everything. Il avait beau tout faire pour hanter correctement. So even though he was giving his best to haunt people correctly, ses actions, here we have une liaison. Ses actions étaient expliquées, here we have une liaison again, étaient expliquées rationnellement par les vivants. His actions were explained rationally by the living. Erreur de perception, biais psychologique, canular, so perception errors, psychological bias, pranks. Il finit par ne plus croire en lui-même et disparut. He ended up not believing in himself and disappeared. So this ghost is probably a very old ghost because he was able to haunt people before and he was doing fine. But because times change, he had to adapt to what was happening now and he couldn't. So he was trying everything that he could to actually keep haunting people so they would be afraid, they would believe in him and he would still be alive. So he was trying everything, but the living now are so scientific that they try to explain everything, which I think is a good thing. But still, this poor ghost was trying everything, but it didn't work because people actually believed that the ghost didn't exist, so they were trying to find rational explanations behind everything that they were witnessing. And at the end, the poor ghost didn't believe even in himself. He was the last one, and it didn't work anymore, so he disappeared. That's sad. That reminds me of the 12-armed ghost, 12-armed god that we saw in a previous tale. Do you remember? So this might be someone who is very, very close to him, in story at least. That's it for today. It was lovely being back with you today. I hope you have a lovely day, lovely evening, maybe a good night. So bonne journée, bonne soirée, maybe bonne nuit. I'm going to put the playlist of the previous lessons just here on the tail on the screen if you want to catch up or maybe watch them again. And I will see you tomorrow evening at 7:15 p.m. Paris time. Allez, salut!